Welcome to my channel Learning Values with Ayeshiki. Hello everyone, my name is Ayeshiki. So today is the 12th day of this series on how to speak in English fluently in just 30 days. So today I am going to read a story from this book, which is of Tales of Adventure on the topic Little Tom Thumb. So let's begin with our story. Little Tom Thumb. Once upon a time there lived a woodcutter with his wife and 7 children. All his children were boys. The woodcutter was very poor, though he worked very hard. It was thus a burden on him to feed his 7 children. The woodcutter and his wife were also troubled, as their youngest son was very delicate and tiny, barely the size of a thumb. He was therefore called Little Tom Thumb. Little Tom Thumb was a quiet and sad child. Each time a bad thing happened in the house, he was blamed for it. He hardly talked, but he was the sharpest and the most cunning among all his brothers. One evening, when the children were fast asleep, the woodcutter told his wife, "I cannot see the children die for hunger before me. So I have decided to take them tomorrow to the forest. While they will be collecting twigs, we will leave them and come back unseen." The woodcutter's wife was stunned and did not agree with him. However, in the end, she agreed with the woodcutter's decision and went weeping to bed. Meanwhile, little Tom Thumb had heard everything. As he stood under his father's stool, worried, he could not sleep at all the rest of the night. Then he got up very early next morning and collected little white pebbles and filled his pocket with them. By the time he returned, his brothers had woken up, but did not tell them about what he knew. Soon after all of them had their breakfast, the woodcutter, along with his wife, went towards the forest. When they had reached the densest part of the forest, the woodcutter began collecting wood, and the children began collecting twigs to make a faggot. After some time, when the woodcutter saw that the children were busy with their work, he quietly went towards home with his wife, who continued to sob. Towards evening, the children realized that they were alone in the forest and started to cry. Only little Tom Thumb remained calm. He knew that they could go back home, as he had marked the path with little white pebbles. "Don't be afraid, brothers. I will take you home," he said, comforting his brothers. Then he led them through the forest, following the little white pebbles. Soon they were standing outside the door of their house. Meanwhile, a lord had repaid a large sum of money he owed the woodcutter. When the woodcutter showed his wife the money, he said sadly, "I wonder where our poor children will be now." Immediately the children rushed inside, shouting, "Here we are!" The woodcutter and his wife were delighted to see them. With time the money ended. Once again the children were left in the forest. This time little Tom Thumb could not find pebbles, so he dropped breadcrumbs, but the birds ate them. The children were now lost. Then it started raining heavily. The children were miserable. Then little Tom Thumb climbed a tree and saw a small light far away. "I can see light in the distance. Let us go there," he told his brothers. After a while they reached the large castle. Little Tom Thumb knocked on the door, and Ogre opened the door. "Madam, we have lost our way. Please give us shelter for the night," pleaded little Tom Thumb. "Go away at once. My husband is an ogre. He likes to eat little children," said the ogress. But Tom Thumb continued to plead, and in the end the Ogres allowed them to come inside. The children sat near the fireplace as they were cold. The Ogres also gave them food to eat. A little later, there was 3 bangs on the door. The Ogre had returned. Quickly, the Ogress hid the children under the bed and then opened the door. The Ogre came inside. "I am hungry, woman," he said. Minutes later, when the Ogre was eating his dinner, he said, "I smell fresh flesh." And before his wife could stop him, he hunted around the house and found the children hidden under the bed. "So you deceived me, you wicked woman," he shouted. Then looked at the children, he said, "3 of my friends are going to visit me in few days. These children will make a hearty meal for them." The children were frightened. Then he picked up a long sharp knife. "Have mercy on us, sir," pleaded the children. "You can eat them tomorrow, for you have already eaten your dinner," suggested the Ogre's wife. "Perhaps you are right," said the Ogre, and did not kill the children. Now the Ogre had 7 young daughters who were as wicked as their father. They had long sharp teeth and rounded grey eyes. That night they had gone to bed early wearing their golden crowns. The Ogre's wife, unable to find any other room for the boys, had put the boys to sleep in her daughter's room on a large bed. Now, little Tom Thumb feared that the Ogre might try to kill them during the night. So he exchanged the crown of the little Ogresses with the caps of his brothers. Little Tom Thumb was right. The Ogre indeed woke up at midnight and came to his daughter's room. Everyone was fast asleep except little Tom Thumb. He felt that Ogre touching the boys, heard and felt the crowns. He was making sure where his daughters were sleeping. Then he went near his daughter's bed. There he felt the caps on their heads. Thinking his daughters to be the 7 boys, he killed them. Then he went back to sleep. No sooner was the Ogre gone than little Tom Thumb woke up his brothers, and they escaped from the castle. The next morning, when the Ogre's wife saw her daughters dead, she fainted. The Ogre was furious when he discovered the trick. He stormed out of the castle looking for the boys. He saw them on the road and rushed towards them. But little Tom Thumb had seen him. He quickly told his brothers, "Hide in that cave." His brothers did likewise. Meanwhile, the Ogre was so tired that he fell asleep near the cave. Then little Tom Thumb told his brothers to come out and rush towards home. His brothers did not waste a moment to rush towards home. When the Ogre was snoring loudly, little Tom Thumb went near him. Then carefully he took off the Ogre's magical boots. The boots could take whoever wore them anywhere they wanted. Interestingly, the shoes took the shape of the feet of the person who wore them. Little Tom Thumb somehow knew about this. He then quickly put on the Ogre's magical shoes and went straight to Ogre's castle. Once there, he told the Ogress that her husband had been captured by robbers. "Hurry, the robbers want wealth in exchange of your husband," he told her. The Ogress became scared and gave little Tom Thumb all the wealth. Without wasting a minute, little Tom Thumb ran back to his father's house with the ogre's wealth. His parents were surprised to see the wealth, but because of his trick, he was able to lead a comfortable life as long as they lived. If you liked my today's video, then please like and comment my video, and also subscribe my channel to listen to more such stories and to follow all my videos regularly. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. Thank you.